Elen Sila Lumen Tilvo. Today I bring to you the legend of Boromir. Boromir was born in Gondor in the year 2978 of the Third Age, to Denethor, the son of the steward of Gondor. Being the older brother of Faramir, Boromir cared and looked after his brother often during their youth. But the two boys would have very different demeanor. Faramir was a wise and compassionate man who took up arms only to defend those he loves, whereas Boromir would be headstrong and bold. He would become a great warrior, ascending to the command of Gondor's armies. When Boromir was 10 years old, his mother Finduilas would pass away, and his father, in grief, became colder and more distant. But Denethor always loved Boromir and favored him over Faramir. Their father's clear favoritism of Boromir did not dampen the brothers' love of each other. In the year 3018, Faramir received a dream repeatedly about Isildur's Bane and the shards of Narsil, and Boromir too received this dream, and the two brothers, confused by its meaning, turned to their father. Denethor did not understand the dream either, but he did know that the location of Imladris, where the dream said the shards would be, was the name of Rivendell. Before any plans could be made to uncover this dream, however, the War of the Ring began. Sauron attacked the city of Osgiliath in an attempt to test Gondor's strength of arms. Boromir and Faramir led the resistance in the city, but despite their valiant efforts, the Gondorians were pushed back. This was due to a new presence on the battlefield, one not felt by any of the men of Gondor. Quote, "Some said it could be seen, like a great black horseman, a dark shadow under the moon. Wherever he came, a madness fell on our foes, but fear on our boldest, so that horse and man gave away and fled." End quote. Boromir led a company at the bridge between the eastern and western parts of Osgiliath. There they fought against the forces of Sauron, but victory could not be achieved. So the bridge was broken, dividing the two halves of the city. Boromir, Faramir, and two others managed to swim to safety and survive. It was neither a victory nor a defeat for Gondor, but many, including Boromir, knew this was just the beginning. Faramir was determined to seek out Imladris and find the answer to the dream's riddles. But Boromir, being the stronger and more hearty, instead took this task upon himself. While Boromir departed, Denethor was loath to do so. Boromir's journey was long and difficult, as the road north had fallen into disuse and disrepair, and so he struggled north. At the ruined city of Tharbad, Boromir lost his horse and was thus forced to continue on foot. At last, over 100 days, Boromir arrived at Rivendell. His arrival could not have been more fortuitous, for Elrond, the Lord of Rivendell, was holding an all too important council, and upon learning of Boromir's plight, invited him. There, Boromir learned much of the history of the One Ring and the answer to the dream. For Isildur's Bane was the ring, carried forth by Frodo Baggins, a hobbit of the Shire. Isildur's heir, too, was there, Aragorn, with the shards of Narsil. Boromir, though clearly awed by Narsil, was too proud to see Aragorn as the rightful king. Boromir implored the council to give the ring to Gondor and allow her to destroy Sauron with it. But instead, the council chose a different path, to destroy the ring. And so the Fellowship of the Ring was formed, led by Gandalf the Grey, Aragorn, Frodo the Ringbearer, and three of his fellows, Sam, Merry, and Pippin, the dwarf Gimli, Legolas the Elf of Mirkwood, and Boromir too joined, though he would only go so far until they neared Gondor, for he wished to return to his own country. On December 25th, 3018, the Fellowship departed Rivendell, with Boromir blowing his horn as they departed. Gandalf would lead the Fellowship south, through the region of Hollin, and up the Misty Mountains, through the pass of Cairós. But heavy snow and winds prevented a crossing, and the Fellowship was instead forced to traverse the mines of Moria. At the entrance gate, Boromir, in his impatience, threw a rock into the water, an act for which he was rebuked by Frodo. The rebuke was well warranted, as soon after the Watcher in the Water came and attacked the Fellowship, who only just managed to enter the mines. The Fellowship traveled for 4 days through the mines before coming upon the tomb of Balin in the chamber of Marzorble. There, the Fellowship fought against orcs and a cave troll, and were forced to flee from the Balrog. As Gandalf fought against Durin's Bane on the bridge of Khazad-dûm, Aragorn and Boromir alone ran to join him in the fight. But little could be done as Gandalf broke the bridge and fell into the abyss. Sorrow engulfed the Fellowship, who now fled from Moria with great haste. Aragorn now led the Fellowship to the forest of Lothlorien, though Boromir was unsure about this course of action, as Galadriel's reputation in Gondor was one of mistrust. Aragorn rebuked Boromir for this belief, as a Lady of the Wood was not dangerous to any save the servants of Sauron. In Lorien, the Fellowship was able to rest. Upon looking into the eyes of Galadriel, Boromir felt the temptation of power within his grasp, though he seemingly rejected that power in the moment. But throughout their stay in Lorien, Boromir's mind drew ever more constant on the ring. He counseled for the ring to be brought to Minas Tirith, to be used by the Free Peoples, stating it would be folly to throw it away, before correcting himself and telling Frodo he meant many lives. When the Fellowship departed Lorien, Boromir rowed one of the 3 boats they were given. It was now that the ring seemed to be fully consuming his mind, as his actions and mood began to frighten Merry and Pippin, who were in the boat with it. But it wouldn't be until the Fellowship reached Amon Hen that Boromir finally gave into the ring. He followed Frodo into the forest and tried to convince the Hobbit to take the ring to Minas Tirith. When Frodo refused, Boromir snapped. "If any mortals have claim to the ring, it is the men of Númenor, and not halflings. It is not yours save by unhappy chance. It might have been mine. It should be mine. Give it to me." Boromir lunged at Frodo, trying to take the ring from him, but Frodo slipped it on and managed to escape. Boromir, in his madness, shouted to the forest that Frodo would betray them to Sauron, before he fell and hit his head. Almost immediately, Boromir realized what he had done, and he wept, and cried out to Frodo to come back. But Frodo was gone, and Boromir would never see him again. When Boromir returned, he told to the Fellowship part of what had happened, that Frodo had vanished, and he did not know where he went. Sam, Merry, and Pippin ran to go find Frodo, much to Aragorn's annoyance. Aragorn told Boromir to follow Merry and Pippin, and Boromir, in his shame over his actions, would hasten after them. There, in the woods near Amon Hen, Boromir found Merry and Pippin, ambushed by Uruk-hai. Boromir fought bravely and skillfully, trying to defend the hobbits. Arrow after arrow he took, and he still stood firm until at last, having received many grievous wounds, fell. His horn was hewed in 2, and the hobbits he tried to protect were taken. Boromir was discovered by Aragorn, and he confessed everything to him, that he tried to take the ring and that he failed. Aragorn would tell the dying Boromir that he achieved what few men could. And so Boromir died, and Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas would set Boromir's body in one of the boats and send it down the Anduin. Faramir would either truly see his brother's body, or else be given a vision of him sailing down to the river, to the sea. And so ends the legend of Boromir. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, feel free to like and subscribe for more content, and please let me know how I can better improve these videos. Thanks, as the elves say, Namarie.